decision's got to be that it's got to add value. Outside IPL, we've seen other leagues get bigger and struggle. We also work very closely with Cricket South Africa. I think the game every day and close games, we see, when we have 2 or 3 good games close together, how, you can feel the attention shift and change. And, hopefully we'll get that run of games. Our window will generally always be the same, 9, 10 Jan, depending on when the New Year's Test match starts, and run for a couple of weeks after that. So I think that'll be it. In terms of plugs, I think for us, what we realise is a lot of what we've done has been really good, and it's about making sure we hit those same markers every year. Well, I think firstly, we've seen growth in the first kind of 2 weeks, viewership, crowd attendance, the atmosphere, cricket has been good. So I think that was really exciting. Unfortunately, you can't always predict these things, and when these unseasonal type of fronts come through certain parts of South Africa, it's a challenge. It's especially when you've got a game a day and you move around the country. But I think right now we've just got to stay positive. There's a lot of cricket still left to be played. We're only halfway really in the season, and the tension and the atmosphere, and I can just feel in the amount of people that are sort of talking, wanting to come to games. Even 1 or 2 rained-out games, watching how the crowds haven't left, it shows you that the product, I think, is really stepped up another level this year. So, yeah, our job is to stay positive, and we keep going and pushing for a strong finish to the season. I don't know if I like the word administrator, but obviously we're always following metrics. I think for us, ticketing, is a big one. So we've seen, a big increase in ticketing. I think we're 4 more sold-out games already than we were at the same point last year, and over 27 or 28% increase in ticketing in the first half of the season. Viewership is up in India. Viewership is up here. Digital growth is up. So, and I think the other metrics that's important for me is always got to be the cricket. So I think the pitches have been slightly better on a consistent level than they were last year. We've seen closer games, super overs, hundreds, hat tricks. Number of last over finishes. So I think for me, I think the quality of cricket has been excellent this year. I'm hoping that over the next 2 weeks we'll really see, some really that stay the same or even get better. I don't know if it requires it. I think the decision's got to be that it's got to add value. Outside IPL, we've seen other leagues get bigger and struggle, over longer periods. We also work very closely with Cricket South Africa on the future tours programs and making sure that there's enough international cricket happening around the SA20. So we will look at it. There's definitely interest in being a part of the league. That's not the issue. The issue is just what is right for the league going forward, and when is the right time to add more teams. After the 27 World Cup, the FTP, then it's a little bit easier to work with. There's more, space to work and manoeuvre if you want to, grow the number of games, extend the, the league by another, 20 games. You need another 2-3 weeks or whatever it is. So I think post 27 in the new cycle, we'll work with Cricket South Africa and see what's the best way forward. Yeah, look, that's always the case. I think there's always in the southern hemisphere a lot of cricket on the go. You just look at India now. Women's IPL starts, and there's an India-New Zealand series, and we've been up against the Ashes and all that sort of stuff. I think the one thing about being here since the beginning is we've always built that way. We've never had a clean window. We've never, we've always had to build up against RLT or against a busy southern hemisphere, and I think we've proven to be successful. In that climate, so our brains don't work like that. Our brains are focused on developing the best product, making sure that people enjoy it, that cricket's competitive, that the fans are filling the stadiums and having a great time, and hopefully we get some great sunshine in the next 2 weeks to really help with that momentum. I think the game every day and close games, we see, when we have 2 or 3 good games close together, how you can feel the attention shift and change, and hopefully we'll get that run of games now. We have obviously our social partners like Laureus, where we're investing in communities, and I think the most important thing is that we're also delivering money back to Cricket South Africa, which flows into growing the game. We, as SA20, have invested in our own development programs as well. So we have SA20 schools, which is girls and boys now, over 700 schools. And then from an economy perspective, we brought, last year we brought over 4 billion rand to the economy, created 8,500 jobs. So those are some really great metrics in a very young product. We're delivering almost a world event every year in this country. From that perspective, I think being just around 4 years old now, I think we've done some amazing work around the social aspect of South Africa. I mean, it's great. I actually watched his interview last night, just listening to him, his first experience bowling at the Wanderers in a high-pressure game, and he's done extremely well. He's been throwing the ball in some of the most high-pressure moments as a young man. It's great to see him coming through. Last year was Pretorius. I think credit to our franchises that, really got behind the youth program that we've tried to, the rookie has started now under 23. And, I think the IPL franchises are good at attracting youth and backing them. I think we've seen that in India. We see it here as well. A lot more players are getting an opportunity to be recognised on a global stage. I was looking at it the other day. Over 10 years, the player salaries will probably be close to a billion rand. If you take it over the 10-year period, and that's a huge uplift in South African cricket ecosystem for players. So I think now, as a youngster coming through, the cricket dream, or from a job perspective, is looking highly strong for youngsters that want to make it or play. Yeah, we've been pretty consistent in our window. I think this year is an anomaly. We normally, every year, we start at 9-10 Jan after the New Year's Test match, and we run for those couple of weeks after that. I mean, this year, because of South Africa being in India up until the 20th of December, and then the World Cup in February, and then there wasn't any international cricket in the window, so it made sense for us to start slightly earlier. But outside that, our window will generally always be the same, 9-10 Jan, depending on when the New Year's Test match starts, and run for a couple of weeks after that. So I think that'll be it. In terms of plugs, I think for us, what we realise is a lot of what we've done has been really good, and it's about making sure we hit those same markers every year. Obviously, then improving. I think we would love to see the pool of South African players get bigger. So now we've got we're starting to see across the 6 teams that the South African group of players are getting really strong. If you want to start adding more teams and stuff into the future, you need to start looking at another 20, 25 high-quality players that make sure when we add new franchises that there's enough depth to make sure that the league remains equally competitive. I think those are kind of the things. And then, for us, commercially, we're having our strongest year. We're seeing, corporate South Africa get behind us, global broadcasters as well. So I think it's about now just making sure you go from strength to strength. Well, I think if you want to push for place in the South African team and you're not in the kind of first 15 or 16 of names, this is the platform to do it. I think, we've seen now, if you take IPL, I think last year we had 17 or 18 players from South Africa playing in the IPL. That's the most internationals, and I think it's because of the platform of SA20. So I think if you're a young player like Mokoena or whatever that you've been talking about, no one knew about him until a few games ago. So now there's these opportunities for players to put their name in the global hat. When I was playing, you had to play for South Africa to be seen. Domestic cricket never got noticed around the world. Now you've got a product that everyone globally is looking in and saying, oh, there's some real talent around, So I think if you want to push for places, this is the tournament to do it. Yeah, I mean, obviously these things not being in a clean window are always FTP related. Ben Stokes was under contract, but the Ashes has happened. He doesn't come back. He gets replaced. And a poor run arrives. So I think what you want is for those top players in your window to, if they're not playing international cricket, to want to be here. And I think that's the message we're getting back from them, that they really love coming here. It's highly competitive cricket. Obviously, it's great place to be over the summer, and there's crowds, and it's fun. So, hopefully, I also credit to the franchises. I think they play a huge role in attracting the international talent as well. No, we hope to get more and more. I think there's some obviously great friends that we have in India, and I must say we've worked closely with the BCCI as well. They've been really supportive in helping us make some key decisions over the years in terms of building the product. But to have Daria, is a highlight. And I know, having chatted to him a number of times through the year, how seriously he's taking this, and he wants to do well. He's a competitive man. Obviously with the Capitals franchise, he has a big influential role now coaching. So he's put himself in the hot seat. So I hope the rest of the season goes well for him. It's been a huge asset to have people like him, Sangakara, Fleming, come out here, for our players and also for the status of the league. Firstly, in South Africa, we wanted to grow the audience. South Africa's got a 60 million, people in the country, and we wanted to really be able to attract more people to the game of cricket. So I think a lot of our marketing and strategy is around bringing people into the stadiums and then have a great time, start to fall in love with cricket and go from there. And we're seeing a lot of people come to cricket for the first time in our stadiums, and that's fantastic. Audience-wise, it's always important to focus on key cricket markets. I think for a league that's trying to develop and grow, we've got a very strong Indian broadcast relationship. We've got 6 franchises from India. South African cricket's always had a great relationship with the Indian fan. So it's natural for us to, we're spending money and, working with the support of you guys and influencers and people that hopefully will fall in love with South African cricket again. That's exciting for us. And then, the UK and so on, all key cricketing markets are important to us. And then, hopefully we'll start attracting new audiences with the Olympics and everything else coming in our future. Yeah, you also you can't control everything, I think, but we do invest a lot of money in making sure that our anti-corruption units are strong, working with the ICC, best practice. We've had a very strong anti-corruption team here. We educate players, on everything, we've seen a strong influence in sort of the drug-free sport. We've seen, anti-corruption. So we do all the educational stuff pre-tournament, constantly follow up on it, make sure there's a good policing unit around. And you're right, it is a risk to your league. So that's why we spend a lot of money making sure that we're doing everything we can to protect the integrity of the game.